Hair Studio is with you again. Hello, my colleagues and I, Alecsan Musaelyan, are with you today. Today, you are going to learn more about color coordination and such important component of professional dyeing as exposed contributing pigment.
Let's go! Hair is beautifying any person and has to be healthy and well-styled. In order to protect your hair, you are to understand its structure first. We're not going to get deep into the details of trichology science because we are interested only in those directions of hair study that are connected with the procedure of hair dyeing at the moment.
Therefore, we will just talk about the visible part of hair, its shaft.
The cross-section of hair shaft shows that it consists of 3 concentric layers: the cuticle, cortex, and medulla. The medulla is usually called the pith or marrow of the hair. It contains keratinized cells. The outermost layer of the hair shaft is the cuticle that is composed of a transparent, scale-like single layers of overlapping enucleate keratinized cells.
The bulk of the hair fiber is the cortex, which contains the natural pigment melanin that confers the hair color.
The pigment can be black, red, and yellow, and the combination of these colors create individual hair color. If the concentration of pigment is high, the hair looks dark. If low, it looks fair. And if melanin is absent at all, it looks white.
Let us dwell on hair color we get as a result of natural pigment destruction, either lightening or bleaching. The color that has been formed as a result of hair lightening or melanin destruction is called the exposed contributing pigment.
Any permanent hair dyeing looks like this. In order to get the light hair shade, we remove all the pigments from the hair. If we need to get the dark hair shade, we on the contrary have to fill it. The exposed contributing pigment plus artificial color gives us the desired color. When we lighten the hair, it's important to consider that the artificial pigment will be superimposed on the exposed contributing pigment.
As a result, the new color will be the total of artificial color in a color of the exposed contributing pigment.
The exposed contributing pigment is needed to understand what is under the artificial color. Not all dyes have absolute ability to cover the exposed contributing pigment. This can especially be noticeable when dyeing gray hair. The more transparent the cosmetic color is, the greater will eventually be seen the pigment to be toned down or neutralized. In this case, the corrective coloration chart is often used for convenience. It shows which color is formed by the destruction of the melanin, depending on the level of tone depth.
In every school and cosmetic company, the names of the exposed contributing pigment shades are given a bit differently, but generally from 1st to 5th, the predominant is red, from 6th to 8th, it is orange, and from 9th to 10th, yellow.
Probably at least once in a lifetime, every woman had a dream of having blonde hair. And it's really good if she was just dreaming, because quite often she embodies this dream into reality by bleaching her hair without hesitation. And if this woman is naturally a brunette, then, as you may understand, her hair becomes hopelessly ruined after bleaching up to 6 shades.
Natural hair color is supposed to be divided as follows: black, brown, blonde, red, and white. The black, a very dark hair color, dark chocolate, dark brown, or black. The brown is dark chestnut and light chestnut. The dark blonde is a light brown color. In Slavic languages, the dark blonde color is singled out as a separate color, same as it is quite often called chestnut in English. The blonde, pale, light brown, and blonde colors. The red, yellowish red, golden copper, and orange shades. The white, gray, white, or white-yellow hair, partially or completely devoid of any color pigmentation.
We all have our own views on colors and shades. That's why colors in professional hair dyeing are treated according to the single system of color coordination, which consists of numbers or letters. In our previous lesson, we've discussed the color wheels, but in terms of practical use, the wheel was not quite convenient, so colorists have rolled it out and represented it as a coordinate system along the X and Y axis. This system was called color chart.
All the marks on the x-axis represent the color hue, and on the y-axis, color lightness, that is the tone depth level. In addition, each color chart division has its own name. Number 1 is the darkest, that is black, and number 10 is the brightest, natural color. The first is black. The second is dark brown. The third is medium brown. The fourth is light brown. The fifth is lightest brown. The sixth is dark blonde hair. The seventh is medium blonde. The eighth is light blonde. The ninth is a very light blonde, and the 10th one is a platinum blonde.
It's far more interesting to discover color direction. There are 7 colors only, but the amount of nuances which can be obtained is incredible. That's why the hair dye producers are so creative about that. Color direction is often called the color line. Most dye manufacturers hold to a number of the following designations within the color line: natural, gray, green, yellow, copper, red, violet, brown, and blue. There are such hair dye producers who designate brown instead of green for the second position and skip the 8th, pearl color, replacing it with a blue corrector. Many companies are using the separate hair dye lines, correctors. These are the auxiliary dyes. Their key function is to work with color saturation and color nuances adjustment. You can learn more about the auxiliary dyes in our lesson devoted to correctors. Their coordination is similar to the main color chart.
The first is ash. The second is green. The third is golden. The fourth is copper. The fifth is red. The sixth is violet. The 65th is pink. The 8th is blue.
Coordination of colors and nuances in the palette is indicated by the following separating characters: fraction, dash, comma, or the full point, and numbers that are set prior and after the separating character. The separating character is always used for color indication, but the absence of any pigment is indicated by a 0. For example, the toner dye 0 fraction 36 or some natural shade 9 fraction 0. You can of course mix them and get the popular color 9 fraction 36, but mixing rules is another pair of shoes.
Thus, the number prevailing the fraction tells us about the tone depth from brunette to blonde. The number that stands after the fraction indicates color direction. The first digit after the separating character is a basic tone color, and the second one is the additional color nuance.
The sequence number of shade determines its quantity. The closer to the separating character it is, the more the concentration is, and vice versa. The repeating same numbers or letters in color direction indicate the intensity of its shade.
Neutral or natural color direction is often marked by 0 or using the N letter. It indicates the purity of shade and the absence of additional color nuances.
In cases when the manufacturer uses the alphabetic system, the color name is written in capital letters, usually in the native language of the brand or in English. When using the literal color encoding, the separation character after the level of tone depth is not used at all. For example, 5G, 6N, 7cc.
N, natural. A, ash. G, gold. I, intensive. S, sand. W, warm. C, copper. M, mocha. R, red. V, violet. B, beige or brown. O, orange. P, pearl.
Generally, due to the coding system, we can assign the number to any hue or to decrypt it on the contrary.
Let's summarize the things up. Every color has 3 characteristics: hue, saturation, and lightness.
The hair dye manufacturers produce colors using 2 characteristics: the level of tone depth and color direction. Corrector is used in order to control the saturation of color.
We'll talk about it in our next lesson. That is called Working with a Corrector. See you again.
Bye.